Well, hello and welcome back to kind of a sad day because it's winterizing, and despite my strong desire to have gone and done a trip or two more, unfortunately circumstances beyond YouTube land are not allowing that. So in today's video, we are going to go through how I winterize my 2024 Winnebago Micro Mini FLX, and I want to start the video by discussing these two jugs right here. So in the world of RV antifreeze, I have come to learn that there are two anti-freezing agents. One is ethanol and one is propylene glycol. Ethanol is the alcohol that you would consume in an alcoholic beverage, and consumed in its raw form, it will have a very pungent, astringent taste to it. Alternatively, there is propylene glycol, which is going to have a bit of a sweeter, more pleasant taste to it. And the reason this is important is because I've noticed there are two different price points where the ethanol one is often less expensive compared to the propylene glycol variant by about 50%. We're talking $10 Canadian versus $15 Canadian. And if you don't ever consume the water from the faucets or the taps or the RV water system, then you could probably just save some money. However, when I'm camping, though I do have a water jug in the fridge for my daily drinking water, in the mornings I do fill up my kettle from the fresh water tank because I'm going to then put that on the stove and boil it, and any potential bacteria that might have been in there anyways will just get boiled off, and then that leaves, or I should say, I'm not depleting that nice, cool, fresh water that is in the fridge. So for me, I do use the one that does not have the astringent taste, and that is the propylene glycol variant. And the way that I figured out myself how to tell which is which, because they don't really advertise it on here at all, not that I've seen, but you take a look at the MSDS. So that's your material safety data sheets. And if you just search, like Google, absolute zero MSDS and then winterproof MSDS, you will find it. And it appears to me that these are actually both made by the same company. And I guess they're sort of structuring this as like a good, better, best, or a good and better, I guess, if there's only two product lines. But the winterproof, this is going to be your ethanol based product, and this is going to be a little bit less expensive. The absolute zero is going to be your propylene glycol variant. That's going to be the sweeter taste, and it is going to be the more expensive of the two. That said, I will still be using the winterproof, because if I'm just pouring it down the P-traps or even into my black tank and gray tank, we're not drinking from either of those sources, so save yourself some money. But for the majority of the trailer plumbing system, we are going to be using the absolute zero today. So let's get in there and get it done. Okay, so for us, with the Truma tankless water heater, what we are going to do is come into the washroom here, and we're going to open up the access panels, and we are going to set the valves to bypass the hot water heater. So that is the feed that we no longer need in there. And then we are going to access through this panel the low point drain valves. We're going to open up all of our faucets and allow that water to backflow out of the trailer. And then we can close those low point drain valves, and we can come in and we can fill the system with the antifreeze. It is important to note there are a couple of other steps that we're going to pop outside for the Truma water heater, but first things first, right? So what I'm going to do is actually just pull off both access panels. We're going to pull off this one because we need the direct access to the low point drain valves, but I'm going to remove the other access panel so that you have a better view of the bypass on the hot water. However, you can just totally like stick your head in here and reach around, but filming in this washroom can be a bit of a logistical nightmare at best, so let's not make it any more difficult on ourselves if we don't need to. Come on now. Okay, so this is the back of the Truma AquaGo Comfort Plus, and the Plus, of course, referring to that return track for the hot water system. But down at the bottom, we have the cold water inlet, so we don't want the water flowing into the hot water heater, and we're going to then just go ahead and bypass that now. So if you think about this lever, when it's going this way, this is the direction of water flow, and then this way it's bypassing and it's going around. There is a loop here. This white one comes up and it loops around. And then so in this configuration, you know, it would sort of bypass the inlet, but then it would want to come in the outlet. So we're going to similarly turn that like this. So it's a 2-valve system. There are other ways to plumb this in what's called a 3-valve configuration, but this one is nicely simplified for us in its 2-valve. And then next what we want to do, and this may be out of frame for you, if I trace my hand up here, this is the return inlet for the hot water, and there is a black valve that we want to then stop and flow, or stop the flow of any hot water in that return tract into the hot water heater, so we don't want it flowing that way. Now, when it comes to winterization, there's still going to be water in this part of the line here that's coming up and in, but as you'll see through this cupboard over here, this is where one of the low point drain valves is located, so we can purge out the water from this line, and then when we're circulating it by having the hot water line open, it should, as I understand it, not end up in here because it is closed, and thus there's a pressure resistance, and the antifreeze would just circulate around. So that's my understanding. Yeah. So now we can go ahead and proceed with the low point drain valves. Okay, hopefully you can see and hear all right. So this line here, this is that return circuit that goes into the hot water heater, and you can see sort of kind of if you follow my finger down, this is the low point drain valve. This black here is just a strap that keeps this line from flapping around. But what we can do is we can now come in here and we can pull. Let's come on, hands. There we go. We can pull the low point drain valve. So now we're draining this circuit. Over here, if we move that, we can now pull the low point drain valve of, oh, she's really on there. Very good. Of the hot water line. And then we can pull the low point drain valve of the fresh water line. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just come up top. We're going to open the faucets and the taps, and then that will yeah, help with flushing it out. And now we come up and we open the valves here so that there's not a pressure in the line. This is now fully open, so the low point drain valves can just yeah, naturally drain out. And same thing over here in the shower. So that's all open. There you can probably hear the sound of the water going the other way. Now we'll pull it over onto the cold side. Very good. So at this point, we will then close all the fixtures and we'll get ready to send through the antifreeze. Also, don't forget to come back in here and close your low point drain valves, because if you don't, then all your nice antifreeze is going to end up on the ground outside. There we go. Okay, take our garbage out of here. This poor trailer needs such a thorough cleaning. Maybe I'll take some time after I'm done recording this video, just try to clean things up. Again, I had intended on doing that prior to, you know, still using the trailer for the season, but yeah, I wish that was an option, but at the time of recording, it's most certainly not. So, okay, so if you watched the water pump troubleshooting video from last week, this should be a very familiar sight to you. However, if you did not see that video, then this black tube is our winterizing line, where we can, instead of siphoning from the freshwater tank, we can pull in from the jug here. To do that, what we want to do is come in here. Sorry for my head getting in the way. But what we want to do is just simply turn this valve here so that it's perpendicular to this white line. This white line is coming from your freshwater tank. And we want to turn this valve that away so that it is parallel with the black line. So then that means we're blocking from the freshwater tank and we are pulling from this jug here. At this point, all I'm going to do is turn on the water pump and open the colds at the fixture level, wait until I see the antifreeze come out, and then open the hot at the fixture level, wait until the antifreeze comes out, and then close that and just make my way fixture to fixture. So we have the kitchen, the shower, the bathroom sink, the toilet, and the outside shower. Now, I did not open that earlier because we're going to end up making our way out to do the outside portion of the hot water heater, but just making my life a little bit simpler. So, all right, let's do it. Now that's the cold side. So I thought this was cold, I apologize, but this is the hot line and there's still water in there. You can see the difference in color, right? Now, through a little bit of the magic of YouTube, what little was left in this jug went quite quickly, so I ended up just switching them out between the two. But all you need to do for that is just simply close your tap and then just swap from one jug to the next. So yeah, fairly simple. So now we are just going to go around and do the same thing for the other fixtures, and yeah, keep her going. Think. And pink. Ah, it's all over my hand. Okay, so we are out here with our old frenemy, the exterior shower, which I really do genuinely detest. Partially for this cheap plastic door, and partially for the fact that it's the worst version of an outdoor shower you can get. And we have water. I think that's pink. That looks pink too. Cool. Exterior shower is done. An outdoor component for the Truma AquaGo Comfort Plus. And if we take down our very sad door, and now first and foremost we have the winter plug in here. We also have a pressure release valve, so any pressure that might have been in the tank since you had used it last, we can purge that off by just simply flicking this lever. But to winterize, somewhat strangely in my opinion, is we drain the water from the hot water heater itself. What is this? That is a piece of broken plastic. Where are you from? Oh, that's fun. The the side of the lever has decided that it's going to break. Huh. I'm very unimpressed, Truma. That's not cool at all. Well, I guess good for us is that what you're supposed to do is remove the cartridge, even though we have the electric antifreeze one here, and then just simply close the lever back up into its upright position, thus leaving the actual tank open, which I always felt was really weird because, you know, mice and critters, or, you know, even, wow, it's cracked all the way around the face of it too. I don't know if you can see that. Wow, that's really unimpressive. Anyways, it is, yes, it is designed so that, the whole tank is cracked. Why is the whole tank cracked? No way. Anyways, yeah, I don't like that this is open because everything can then just come inside. But according to the Truma instructions, you just take your cartridge and you set that off to the side or down in the bottom, and then you hope nothing crawls in there and does damage, which at this point, who the hell cares, because the entire water heater has just decided that it is going to fall apart. And it has split here in the front, right up behind, like in front of this one, behind that one, and then down the face as well. Considering that this plastic here has broken, the plastic on the door cracked, yeah, I'm not super happy about this. This is not good in my opinion. This is one of those moments where it's like, people wouldn't believe you if you didn't have it on camera, right? This just has cracked, I guess, from driving down the road. Well, I know how the next couple of my days, are going to be spent, and that is talking with Truma about if they can offer any support. Once more, this plug is now available as an optional accessory from Truma, so you can get this. And really, what this is designed for is to prevent spin drift, so snow and ice and everything getting up in this area, which this is your exhaust outlet. It will, you don't have snow and ice build up in there and then it can't exhaust. It's like sticking a potato in the tailpipe of your vehicle. It just won't run. So yeah, that is about it. I'm really trying to mentally multitask right now what is happening. So I'm going to take some pictures here. We will go ahead and close up and wrap up. So that just about wraps things up here. I'm still mentally processing what I've just discovered with the Truma water heater, but I guess we weren't really going on any trips anyways, because we probably would have found that out sooner than later. I don't know. I'm trying to find a silver lining here. But I have a few other things to do in terms of like winterizing the fluids. We now have antifreeze through all of the lines, and I'm going to take some of that less expensive and just put it down in the gray water tank and in the black tank, because of course we ran some water into those tanks, and what we don't want to do is then just have like a big solid ice cube basically form in the bottom of that tank and perhaps squeeze out and crack. And we want to make sure our P-traps are appropriately filled, so all of that is suitable for that less expensive antifreeze product. So yeah, if you have any questions, again, for liability reasons, this was not an instructional video, but that is how I do it. And in terms of total antifreeze consumed, I had, what you saw there was maybe half a jug. We've used pretty well the full one in there. So I think if you have 2 jugs, you're going to be in great shape. However, if you forget, say, the water tank drain valve open and purge 3/4 of a jug through that, as I did last year, whoops, then maybe have a third on hand. Never a bad idea, right? So 2, possibly 3 should get the whole trailer done. Anyways, yeah, thanks again for joining me. And if you aren't already subscribed, tongue twisters, please consider doing so. I would sincerely, greatly appreciate that. It would mean the world to me, and hopefully you'll find more value-added videos to come in the future. So until then, thanks so much for watching. You take care, and bye for now.